What is going on, everybody? It is Wednesday, March 27th, 2019. Tomorrow is opening day for baseball. And continuing on with my MLB previews today, we reached the American League Central. And we'll look at each team in the Central Division of the American League and see how I expect they should do after their various off seasons and how they develop themselves this upcoming season. Uh, we start with the reigning champions, two or three-time reigning champions of the American League Central, and the Cleveland Indians. And for a team that is kind of seen their door of contention potentially close, they were quiet this offseason. They saw Josh Donaldson, who they got in the midseason trade last year, sign a one-year deal in Atlanta. Andrew Miller's now on with the Cardinals. Cody Allen is on the Angels. Michael Brantley, who had spent the last decade in Cleveland, is now in Houston. You also see guys like Melky Cabrera, Lonnie Chisenhall, Rajai Davis, and Brandon Guyer all leave. So this is a team that's seen a lot of veteran players and a lot of players with that playoff and World Series experience leave. They did manage to extend star pitcher Carlos Carrasco to 2022. They picked up some valuable prospects when they sent Yan Gomes over to the Nationals, and Carlos Santana was brought back after last year's team in Philadelphia in a three-team trade, but they had to give up Edwin Encarnacion for that. They also brought in Jake Bowers, who's a top prospect in Tampa Bay, as well as landing pitchers Tyler Clippard and reliever Alex Wilson on minor league deals. So their lineup is still fairly strong. I mean, guys like Lindor and Kipnis and Jose Ramirez and Santana and Tyron Aquin, among Greg Allen, among others. A strong rotation at the top with guys like Kluber and Bauer um, and Carrasco and Clevenger. This is still a really good team. So I'd call that their infield and their rotation pretty strong, but their bullpen remains a weakness. It was a big weakness last year, and their outfield remains a weakness. This year, I'm going 88 and 74, right around that 87 win mark that a lot of experts have pinned them at. Next up, we go to Detroit, with the Tigers, who are in the middle of a massive rebuild. They are still in a massive rebuild strategy. You saw longtime catcher James McCann. Um, he was let go this offseason. Right now, it looks like a catcher by committee of Grayson Greiner, John Hicks, and Bobby Wilson, kind of all going to be behind the dish this season. And as they wait for Jake Rogers, their top catching prospect, to get ready and be major league ready. Jose Iglesias, who was in that outfield and was provided some highlight reel plays over the last few years, is gone. They did get a pretty good replacement in Jordy Mercer from Pittsburgh on a 1 year, $5.25 million deal. Pete Kozma and Gordon Beckham were brought in on minor league deals. We also saw designated hitter Victor Martinez retire at age 40 after a lengthy career since 2002 with the Detroit Tigers. They bring in Kristen Stewart. He should be the next guy to kind of be that star there in the DH, and hopefully that the Tigers fills a role similar to Vmart. He does have powerful potential, and the Tigers hope that he kind of comes in and he fills that role for years to come. They also had Alex Wilson depart in the offseason. He came in on the Yoenis Cespedes trade in 2014 and has been a star there. He's been a pretty solid reliever there since, of course, he went over to Cleveland, so he stays in the division. But they do have some prospects lined up to replace him. Then they have Francisco Liriano, who left in the offseason, but they did bring in Tyson Ross and Matt Moore, two solid veterans from San Diego and Tampa Bay, respectively. And then Brandon Dixon and Josh Harrison were also signed. A couple other small veteran signings. this year. So I mean, not much in this lineup. I mean, you still have Castellanos, Miguel Cabrera, Mickey Matuk, Kobe Jones. You know, those players stay. Newcomers like Jordy Mercer, like Josh Harrison. Your rotation, I look at it. I got a protection 6-man rotation. Homer, Boyd, Zimmerman, Ross Moore, and Daniel Norris. I do think they have some good prospects like this, Kristen Stewart. But everything else is kind of weak. Um, this is a team that can still make some noise, but I doubt much will happen. I have them going 74-88. Going from Detroit to the south side of Chicago, White Sox. White Sox were a team that were very interesting this offseason. Obviously, they were big in on the Machado sweepstakes and were a favorite to get him. Obviously, it didn't happen. Machado goes to the Padres instead. They bring in his best friend, John Jay. They bring in his brother-in-law, in Yonder Alonso. Um, and just to see him go sign a 10-year, $300 million deal, they had offered him something like 8 years, 260 mil. He goes to the longer deal in San Diego. But I think they had a good offseason. You look at the signings of Alonso and Jay, and those are solid veteran players with strong potential. You have Alex Colome and Calvin Herrera, two stud relievers. Herrera, of course, he's had a couple of years where he's dealt with some injuries in Kansas City and has struggled a bit. But if he can return to that form of a couple of years ago when Kansas City was in the World Series, that's a good signing there. And that was a guy they got to know well. He was in the American League Central. He was lighting up guns for a while there. Um, they also signed Ivan Nova. He'll kind of fill that James Shields type role where he's eating innings and providing leadership. Brandon Guyer signed on a minor league deal. He comes in. He's another American League Central player coming in from Cleveland. So you've guys like John Jay, young guys like Yohan Moncada and Jose Abreu. Although Abreu's been around now for years, I don't know much to call him young much anymore. You have Alonso, you have Castillo, Tim Anderson, Yolmer Sanchez. I mean, this team has some interesting names in the lineup. Rotation, it's still a little weak, and so I'd say the new acquisitions and youth remain their strength. The rotation and bullpen are their weaknesses, and I have them going 77 and 85. Moving on to the Minnesota Twins. This is a team that I've seen win totals all over the map on. I'm a little bit high on the Twins this year myself. I think they can return to a bit of the form they enjoyed the last few years. They brought in former All-Stars Nelson Cruz and Jonathan Schoop. They also signed a solid player, Marwin Gonzalez. But did little to improve the rotation, and that's where I think a lot of the weaker and lower win totals are coming in. The only notable signings are Blake Parker and Martin Perez, but they are a pretty good team with that lineup with guys like Jorge Blanco and Marlon Gonzalez and Cruz and Sano and Schoop in there. That's a pretty good lineup. You also have Byron Buxton, the speedy and good fielder, still on that team. Those are the veterans in the lineup for their strength, for their weaknesses, their rotation. I still peg them at 90 and 72. Finishing off in Kansas City, they did really nothing this offseason. They did bring in Billy Hamilton, the speedster, former Cincinnati Red, to man their outfield. They also got Brad Boxberger, who's been a solid reliever for the last few years, to be their closer. The other real notable veteran signing is Chris Owens, I guess. Not much talk about this team. Still have some of the pieces from the World Series trip. No Moustakas, obviously last season they saw, some of these pieces begin to fall away, but they still guys like Alex Gordon and Salvador Perez, those are kind of the remaining pieces from that World Series trip of just a few years ago. They do still have a decent rotation: Danny Duffy, Brad Keller, Jacob Junis, Ian Kennedy, kind of the mainstays on that rotation. So I'd say their strength is speed. They do have some good speedsters in on that team. They're going to be a team that runs a lot. That's how they're going to beat you on the base path. But rotation and power are their weaknesses. In the new major leagues, it's kind of a big deal. So I have them going 73 and 89. So my final projections for the American League Central, I got the Twins in first, the Indians in second, White Sox third, fourth the Tigers, and fifth the Royals. So I do have the Twins unseating the Indians, although their win totals are really similar. And again, one series, my projections could really change things. They could really flip things. And you never know really what these teams. It's still going to be, I think, the weakest division in baseball. Just like probably weaker. I don't think the Indians very much improve. I do think the Twins improved slightly, but it's still a very weak division with three teams in full-on rebuild mode. So, and another team that's kind of inconsistent, and a first-place team that's beginning to see their title window close. So, still a very weak division. I don't see any serious long-term playoff or getting into the championship series or the World Series type contenders there, but we'll have to see as the regular season does begin tomorrow. I'll still be providing some of the remaining previews. I saw the Central and the National Central and in the Western divisions as well. And we'll see when I can get those out to you guys. But be sure to subscribe to me here. Follow me on Twitter at JMoney18C. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.